Howdy everyone, Nimby here. Enjoy some fly tying and some nice tea this morning. We're going to start off with a older pattern. That's great for brook trout and cutthroat, brook trout and cutthroat. And it's called the Bentz Sunset. Just gonna lay a thread base right back to our barb and a few wraps back towards the barb there, or the point. Clear that off. Now for the tail, we're going to be using red hackle fiber. Just rooster spade hackle on the side. Nothing crazy. Since it is just for the tail, you can feel free to substitute that with any other red feather you got kicking around. I'm sure that would work just fine with a red goose or turkey or anything else you got. Traditional recipe calls for red rooster hackle. That'll give it a bit of a stiffer tail than the other options. And we're going to tie that in at the full length of the shank. It's got a nice big long red tail. Hey Robert, good to see you in. Northern Cast, nice to have you in, mate. Glad you made it too. And we're just going to tie it right over top of those back wraps we did, so it'll sit up top and proud. Give us a nice shot of red coming out there. Now I'm just going to tie the waist. You can clip the waist off if you like. I'm just going to tie it down to build the body up a little bit. We're going to be using some fluorescent reddish orange, it's almost like a salmon color Fentex. You're probably going to have trouble finding that because this stuff hasn't been made in this color since the 80s. It's a rather old spool. So anything, you could use yarn. Well, that's what we're working with. So basically what we're trying to do is get some nice sunset colors in there in the body. Take off the length of our Fentex. I'm going to have to split this. This one's on the long side, or thick side. So we're going to probably go with a quarter, split it into 4s or 3s, and see how it splits. I don't recall if this older batch is a 4-strand or a 3-strand. We'll find out here. Probably should have just pre-split this for you guys so you don't have to wait. It's not stranded in the way yarn is, but the way they... Oh, it looks like it's a 2. Am I wrong? Is it 3? It's not stranded in the same way yarn is, but there is separations where it comes out of the nozzle. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably a 3-strander. There we go. And that'll work well. That'll be fine. If you are using Fentex, just be gentle with it while you're separating it. It's a little bit like floss in that you don't want all the whiffy bits to... There we go. The other cool thing is Fentex is a Canadian product. It's basically the original form of like Antron yarn. Synthetic, extremely durable. A lot of yarn you see, or a lot of this you see in the fly shops that's set as floating yarn is the same stuff. There we go. And we should tie that in right up front. Your tag in a bit. You want to leave room for our, it's going to have a nice soft tackle collar on it after. You want to get close to the tail, but you want to stay about 2 to 3 thread wraps away so you're not going to interrupt tail. Hide that in our material clip for a second. Hey Doug, good to have you back in. And Muddy Water, good to have you as well. Just catching up on the chat here. And Wayne. Hopefully you guys are having a great morning. Just gonna have some of my tea here before we keep moving on. Alright, fairly simple fly. Basically having a red tail, this reddish orange body, and then a darker brown soft hackle on it. But yeah, these work excellent for brook trout. It's an old pattern from the 40s, so it's not likely you're going to see this in a fly shop. It was originally tied by Ted Bentz, who was a famous tyer out of Oregon. I'm going to go for kind of a little bit of a taper up to the soft hackle. Traditionally it was also tied with black wax thread, but since you're going with a lot of orange and red colors, I'm sure you can get away with having a hot color like a red or a pink accent thread. That would work just well. I'm going to go back about a third here in kind of looser wraps. So about third mark where I'm at now. I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to get it in between those looser wraps, so that we end up with an even, or as even as it's going to let me. There we go. So you can see we got the kind of thorax lump there. Not only does that imitate the thorax lump of many different insects, but it also helps the soft hackle to stand out. I'm just gonna tie that off. This is a wonderful material to source in thrift stores, and if you're into that, which I absolutely love finding material thrifting, because this was originally sold as yarn for knitting slippers, so it's incredibly durable because it's meant for you to walk on it, so your flies hold up really well, and it's also buoyant. Not because it's a hollow fiber, but the fibers are shaped almost like a T when they get extruded, so the air catches on it very easily. And it has because of that too, it has a bit of a rougher texture to it. The older stuff, if you can find some vintage Fentex, like this is, it's much softer. I don't have any modern around. One second, I might actually have some modern. Well, this is the modern stuff, and it's probably hard to see on the camera, but the texture, you can see that frayed bit there. The fibers are, I want to say, at least twice, if not more, thickness. Here, I'll get my little strand here. So you can see how much finer. Oop, am I on the wrong side of the card? There we are. You can see how much finer the fibers are on the vintage stuff compared to the modern. It's almost, I want to say, about twice the thickness. One sec, dropping all my materials here. Anyway, sorry, a little side tangent there, but so we got the body going. We're gonna do a nice soft dark hen hackle. This stuff's real pretty. This is a Feathercraft saddle patch brown, but you could use really any dark soft hackle you have would be perfectly fine. Just in the 40s, they wouldn't have a lot of genetic options, so they're going to be using your chickens, your regular yard chickens, like your I'm just going to take two off. One's got a little white fleck on it, so we'll just take this one here. Remove the fluff. Yeah, that's the other thing, fly foam. You can find that all over. Everything from flip-flops to, well, anything that's made out of foam, really, if your imagination's good enough. Alright, so we got our little thing here. We want to have the bottom strand kind of reaching almost to to the tail point, we know that we got a good sized soft hackle there. Now I'm just going to be grabbing the tip and stretching it back. I didn't quite get the tip as much as I wanted there. Beauty. So there we go. I'm going to cut the tip off. We've got our little triangle tie-in. This particular saddle patch is fairly decently strong. I haven't had any break on me, so we should be good. I got that tied in. I'm just gonna throw in 2 half hitches here so I can get the bobbin out of the way. One second, these fibers are they're a little too anxious. They want to be on that fly like super quick. They want to get tied in. They don't want to wait. There we go. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna throw that up in bob and rest. We'll get this wrapped up. Just use my standard hackle pliers. Don't really need them in this case because I got a nice long tang to tie or hang on to, but actually going to try and peel these back a bit because they don't seem to want to get out of the way. There we are. Nope, come on. Just that first one. There we go. Well, if that first one's not going to behave, we can always evict it after. We just want a nice little soft hackle collar. So we're gonna go for like 3 wraps or so. We're not trying to bury that beautiful orange body, we're just trying to accent it with some movement. And we also want to tie that in on top of our little thread base that we made. Yeah, we're getting our thread back out again here. I normally like to tie them off more on my side, but this one looks like it finished more up top, but that's fine. We'll finish it up there. Yeah, one more wrap over and a couple locking wraps up front. Let that hang there, we'll get some half inches in to hold it in. But yeah, Really simple little pattern. Gonna whip off a few of these this morning while I enjoy my tea. Really pretty little bug though, eh? That red and that orange just drive brook trout and cutthroat nuts. I'm surprised you don't see this pattern more often, to be honest. Thanks, Doug. I do try to keep things tidy. Actually ended up with a nice little eyeballs aren't working. There we go. Nice little quill sticker for cleaning out the eye. I might hang on to that guy for a couple flies until he gets gummed up. Yeah, we'll just make that hackle nice and pretty here, and then we'll finish our wraps. A few fibers that are kind of hanging out together, we'll just separate a bit. But yeah, there you get the idea. Nice, simple. And again, you want the hackle, the longest hackle that you have when you're tying it in, to be just at the butt or just before the butt. So that way that when it does get wet and it's pulsing, you'll still see that nice orange body. You don't want to go too much farther back where you're covering up the tail. And generally having it down to like the point of your hook, that's a really good size. And having that 45 degree to 30 degree angle works really good for when you're stripping it to pulse in the water like that. So really happy with that one, turned out quite well. It's a little beauty. Get some whip finishes on there just to build this head back up. I'm going to use the whip finishes to hold that soft hackle back, but it's pretty much right where we want it anyway. But this will also bury in our tag in there as well. There, beauty. Nice and simple. Fun little tie. And deadly if you're doing some creek fishing or brook trout or cutthroat. Throw some head cement on there. And we'll rotate that for a minute while that head cement dries up. Hey Ernest, didn't see you pop in there. Sorry, mate. Good to have you. Yeah, thanks for everyone joining the chat. I thoroughly appreciate that. Always good to tie some flies in the morning with you guys. Enjoy a nice cup of tea. So again, this is the Bentz Sunset. Originally tied by Ted Bentz. And it's really good for trolling and creek fishing for sea run cutthroat or brook trout. He originally fished it in Oregon, where he was tying. I think it would really be effective for pretty much anywhere that's got, salmon coming in and out, spawning anything with a red egg hatch. And where you have salmon, you got smaller predatory fish that will key in on that red and orange in almost any shape and color, or shape and size, and it just drives them nuts. I'm gonna pop in another here. Just gonna have to adjust that a hair. Hopefully everyone's morning's going wonderful. It's a beautiful day here. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, really happy with how that one turned out. Get another one done up here. I'm gonna go a little quicker on this one. Not racetrack quick or anything. I don't go with that speed, but we're gonna get this one tied up without as much of the explaining dialogue, if that's okay with everyone. So I do have to get a fire lit in the wood stove and get some of the wood packed away. Okay, so we're going to use the red. Basically dyed red rooster spay feather. Nothing crazy or fancy. And get those tips through the line. Rip her piece off. And I'm just going to cut the butts ahead of time because I'm going to tie this guy right in. That'll save me cutting him after. We want to have that the full length shank so it's got a nice big prominent red tail. We're going to tie that right on the back here. I want it to sit right up top. It's splaying out a bit on me there, but I think we're good. The part I care about looks fine. Yeah, there we are. Nice little fiery red shot there. Yeah, that'll do just fine. And we're just gonna wrap this gently. Start our body. It's gonna get covered in that wonderful Fintex. Where's my strand I was working with? Here we go. So yeah, keep your eye out for this stuff. I absolutely love this stuff. It works excellent for bodies. If you want to use it for, it works really good for parachute posts too. You can get a brighter color. Obviously, well, if you're using white, you could use a Sharpie and dye it whatever color you want. It does take dye okay, as far as markers go. The older stuff does. The newer stuff, it really, really doesn't. But if you need to do a little accent color on like a parapost, it'll do that for you without much trouble. Okay, now we're just going to do 2 half hitches here to hold that in place. Little save point. And get to some body wrapping. There. You will get a very slight show through if you are using the black thread, which is a traditional for this. Most flies from that time period, 40s, 50s, are going to be black thread, because that's really what they had. So we're going to go up here, and then we're going to go back to our 1/3 mark with like a looser wrap. Mine's kind of separating on me there. Okay. Separating a little too much to do that third technique, but we're going to go with it. All we're looking for is that torpedoed thorax. There we go. Yeah, just like floss, this stuff can be slightly annoying on the separation, but it is, unlike floss, it's durable as all get out, so you can pull on it, and if you got a little frays in your finger or hangnail or whatever, it's not going to catch and destroy itself for the most part. And it's not nearly as slippy as floss because of the structure of it. It grips much better. I'm just going to bury my tag in and make sure I got a nice flat purchase to tie in that hackle. There it be. I'm going to grab one more here because that last one I pulled out has one of these white flecks on it. So we're gonna go with this guy. I'll measure him out once we get him out, but he should be on the money. Stripping the sides off, and we're going to be measuring that point there. That's our longest fiber, and it's right where we want it, just before the end of the tail there. Strip that back. Get a little more there. Beauty. We'll cut our cone. A little bit big. There we go. get that set in with a good 3 or 4 wraps. And we'll get a couple half hitches to hold it. Yep, now we can set our bobbin up in the cradle. Our trusty hackle plier in there to do its job. And since that turned out so well last time, we're also gonna preen these together. Oh no, I pulled too hard. Alright, let's do this again. I'm gonna grab a new feather because I ripped the tip off that one. That was my bad. I'm a little too excited, moving a little too quick. Okay, there it be. Double check that length again. Yep, right on the money. Grab the tip. If you got really big sausage fingers, you can just use some tweezers to do this too, and that works just fine. Or your hackle pliers, you can just grab the tip with your hackle plier. A lot of people do that. Okay, cut our triangle again. Hey Yoshi, how's it going, mate? Sorry I've been missing the chat there. I've been paying attention to me breaking my hackle off. But that's the fun thing about the live fly tying is you get to see all the mistakes and the good parts. And that's how you learn. You got to overcome all the little obstacles you run into, right? We're always working, well, not always, but the majority of the time we're working with natural materials. And every single feather you pick up is going to be different from the last one. There, my head's going to be a hair thicker on this one because I'm going to have to tie that in twice. But I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. Just makes it look meatier. And yeah, hopefully your day is going good, Yoshi. And if Valhalla's back too, sorry mate if I missed you. I'm excited to see all your Forge stuff when you get all that going with your videos. I really think you're going to do real well. And I love me some Forge videos. Blacksmithing is on par with all the other stuff I enjoy. So yeah, if you guys like some hand forged coolness, go check out Valhalla's page. Give him a sub, eh? He's trying to work his way up like the rest of us. And for those that have been around a bit longer, I'm sure he'd appreciate any advice you have for him. He is starting out here. This one side just doesn't want to cooperate with me. Just too bad, because I really like this feather. I'll make her work here. I'm going to actually reset that and fix that. really sure why it wants to go all cattywampus on me. Come on, buddy, you want to behave, don't you? You want to become a beautiful little trout fly. I know you do, we talked about it. You said, hey Nimby, turn me into a beautiful trout fly, that'd be awesome. I'm really not sure why. I'm gonna try back wrapping this one actually. I'm not sure why that side wants to kink the way it's kinking, because it sure don't look like it should. But again, natural materials, every feather we pick up is going to be different. But since it's kinking that direction, I'm going to wrap the opposite, and that should pin it in place. Not my preferred direction to wrap, but... And again, buddy, what are you doing? 1 second here. Okay. There's other methods we can use to pin it in place if need be. So we'll go to those. Dude, just behave. Come on. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna wrap this and fix it out. It is not wanting to behave. One little shot there sticking out, but we'll fix him in a second. At least we got that lower bit to cooperate. And again, that's kind of ended on my side, but a little more on the... Oh, come on, buddy. Ended more on my side. There we go. Get that bent back there. Beauty. Recovery. Okay, let's do one more just so I feel better about it. I'm sure it's in there fine, but we'll do one more. Just gonna lift him up here. Hey, beauty, that actually, considering how it started off, that went better than I was expecting there. Me? I actually used to have my own forge many moons ago now. I used to do smaller stuff though, like more like jewelry, knife work, lost wax method of casting and that sort of thing. I do not have anything left from that time period. But I have a passion for it, and I really enjoy watching people who also have a passion for it, like yourself. So that's cool. I'm definitely gonna follow your vids and your journey. One other thing I'd like to get into again too is like hand making salmon hooks and hand tempering them and everything, and then making some absolutely gorgeous, beautiful salmon flies. Although it's a lot of work, it is really cool to just start off with a chunk of wire, cut your own barbs, you know, temper it, lacquer it, bake it, and then tie beautiful feathers onto it. Yeah, so we're just going to rotate that while that sets in. But yeah, I'm really happy. Hackle finally decided to play ball and set well. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do it for show flies. There's a big community that will buy handmade hooks that are well made. Like you can do, you know, different styles of twists and that right before the tie-in point around the shank there, to make it more artistic. And you could definitely use like a Damascus type of steel mending to get those cool looks and everything. But you're right, like anytime you're folding steel like that, it's gonna add possible fracture points to it. So for actual use and the amount of work you have to go through, it's gonna be a showpiece, right? It's gonna be something you're gonna put in a shadow box or on your mantle, or just have something really cool in your box. But it's not going to be an efficient way to make a solid, girthy, sturdy hook, right? It's just going to look cool. There we go. That's a Bentz Sunset. Glad everyone could hang out with me. Enjoy morning tea. Enjoy some good fly time. Again, these things are bomber for if you got any brook trout, cutthroat in your area, or any time you're fishing for a predatory fish that's going to be going or keying in on salmon egg colors. Simple tie, so like if you're a new tyer, you know, hit up with some of that. You got to just find the colors. You can really mix and match the materials. But it's super easy to find a simple hen cape. For your soft hackles, you could definitely use gross on this as well if you're a hunter. If you don't have capes, you could even use shoulder feathers would work fine as well. For the body material, really anything. I mean, you could switch that up to chenille. You could use wool. Wool would have been what they would have traditionally used because they wouldn't have had Fentex. But yeah, Nice simple pattern, effective, and cool to bring a little history back on the vise for a bit. Yeah, these things look really cool in the water. I like creek fishing them because you can see the soft hackles pulse, and it almost gives it like a glowing effect with the body color. Um, yeah, it's just they're neat little flies, simple and effective. Yeah, it's the same thing for knives. I mean, Damascus steel was, originally designed for knife blades and to get them the proper temper and edge strength and everything, right? Um, but it was because they were folding different types of metal together. It wasn't really for the. Well, I'm sure there was some aesthetic to it back then, but they were really trying to get a harder steel, and steel was a little bit harder for them to come by in the area that it originated from. Um, yeah, yeah. If you want to play around with that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying something. I'm gonna cut out here though, guys. Got some wood to stack and fire to get going. So I appreciate everyone dropping in. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for dropping in, Valhalla. Thanks, Robert. Not sure if Yoshi's still in there or not. Thanks, Yoshi. Thanks, Doug. Wayne. If Muddy's still in there. And all you guys just hanging out enjoying the time that's not talking, it's all good. Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Have a good day. Appreciate her.